This is manifestly not the case. The problem, insofar as it exists, is purely political and based on a number of false premises. The main false premise is that it is not possible to leave the customs union and keep the Northern Irish border free of new infrastructure. This has been denied clearly on multiple occasions by the head of HMRC John Thompson and by his Irish opposite number Niall Cody. Second false premise is that to keep the border free-flowing in Northern Ireland we will have to have a border between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK, unless the entire UK remains in the EU's customs union. Leaving the EU's customs union is necessary to keep faith with the referendum result. JACOB Rees-Mogg, its proponents, the Irish government, know that an Irish sea border is impossible as it would split up the UK, but smelling caution in Westminster see no reason to let up the pressure on the customs union. The third false premise is that we do not have enough time to develop the IT software needed to leave the customs union. This again has been disproved by HMRC, who no doubt have already been working on it for the last 2 years. We already have processes for dealing with our non-EU trade. We are not reinventing the wheel, simply creating faster channels for all our trade. Getty JACOB Rees-Mogg insists it is possible to prevent a hard Irish border and leave the customs union. The last false premise is that there is some happy compromise waiting to be discovered. However, customs union membership is binary and leave one. The history of German unification in the 19th century shows how important such arrangements are in state building. Alas, the Treasury has wasted precious months coming up with complex and unworkable alternative models that prove this essential point. There will always be more fair-weather friends willing to compromise and wait than do the homework and take a decision, but decision time is arriving. Analog will give way to digital. The truth is that leaving the EU's customs union is necessary to keep faith with the referendum result and reap the benefits of Brexit. If we remain in it, we will accept EU laws, collect EU taxes, and have ourselves a trade policy where we are, without any say, a vassal state. Outside, we can get to work on increasing our trade, creating jobs and opportunities, and reducing the cost of food and clothing for our consumers. That the customs union is still being debated 2 years after the referendum does not go unnoticed in the EU. The Prime Minister will shortly join the EU for negotiations at the June summit. It is to be hoped that by then Parliament will have armed her with a clear mandate to negotiate the best deal for the UK. Defeat on some amendments to the EU withdrawal bill would be defeat for the UK. It would encourage the EU to toughen its stance. The EU will demand the UK stays in the customs union, accept their laws, regulate our own economy in the EU's interest rather than our own, and deny us the ability to forge new trade links. Westminster is suddenly alive with politicians flushed with newfound interest in customs unions and the Northern Irish border. This interest is puzzling. Why would MPs and peers, who once campaigned to stay in the EU, now campaign to stay in the EU's customs union? I have the answer, and compared to the Schleswig-Holstein question, its answer is quite simple. Lords and MPs who wish to vote to remain in the customs union wish to keep us in the EU.